Hi there, everyone. I am Lenz Beniskayubit, one of the accounts executive at Lemon. So for today's video, we are going to discuss the part two of valuation process. And it is forecasting financial performance. Let's start. After understanding how the business operates and analyzing historical financial statements, forecasting financial performance is the next step. Forecasting financial performance can be looked at two lenses. The first one is on a macro perspective, viewing the economic environment and industry where the firms operates. And second one is on a micro perspective, focusing on the firm's financial and operating characteristics. Forecasting summarizes the future view which results from the assessment of industry and competitive landscape, business strategy, and historical financials. And forecasting can be summarized in two approaches. The first one is the top-down forecasting approach. What does it mean? It means that the forecast starts from international and national macroeconomic projections rather, with utmost consideration to industry-specific forecast. From here, analysts select which are relevant to the firm and then applies this to the firm and asset forecast. In top-down forecasting approach, the most common variables include the GDP forecast, consumption forecast, inflation projections, foreign exchange currency rates, industry sales, and market shares. As a result of top-down forecasting approach is the forecasted sales volume of the company. Revenue forecast will be built from this combined with the company set sales prices. And the second one is the bottom-up forecasting approach. It means that forecast starts from the lower levels of the firm and it is completed as it captures what will happen to the company based on the inputs rather of its segments and units. For example, store expansions and increase in product availability is collated and revenues resulting from this are calculated. Inputs from various segments are consolidated until company level revenues is determined. Insights during the industry, competitive and business strategy analysis about firm should be considered in the phase when forecasting for the firm's sales, operating income, and cash flows. Comprehensive understanding of these items is critical to forecast reasonable numbers. Qualitative factors, albeit subjective or considered in forecasting process in order to make valuation approximate the true reality of the firm. Assumptions should be driven by informed judgment based on understanding of the business. Next is forecasting should be done comprehensively and should include earnings, cash flow, and balance sheet forecast. Comprehensive forecasting approach prevents any inconsistent figures between the prospective financial statements and unrealistic assumptions. The approach considers that analysis should be done per line item as each item can be influenced by different business driver. Similar with short-term budgeting, forecasting process starts with the determining sales growth and revenue projections of the business. Next, forecasting process should also consider industry financial ratios as this gives an idea how the industry is operating. From this, the analyst should be able to explain reasons why firm-specific ratios will deviate from this. Knowledge of historical financial trends is also important as this can give guidance on how prospective trends will look like. Similarly, any deviations from noted historical trends should be carefully explained to ensure reasonableness. Next, typically, sales and profit numbers should be consistently moved in the future based on the current trends if is no significant information that will prove otherwise. And the results of forecast should be compared with the dynamics of the industry where the business operates and its competitive position to make sure that the numbers make sense and reflect the most reliable view of how the business operates. Even though general economic and market trends can be used as reliable benchmark, analysts should consider rather that there might be unique factors that affect company prospects that can be used as guidance in the forecasting process. And last information related to forecasting is that typically forecasts are done on an annual basis as most publicly available financial information are interpreted on an annual basis. Where applicable, forecasts can be better done on a quarterly basis to account for seasonality. Seasonality affects sales and earnings of almost all industries. For example, airline companies tend to have a peak sales during the summer season and holiday seasons, while lean sales during rainy months. Developing earnings forecast while considering seasonality can give a more reasonable estimate. And that is forecasting financial performance. Thank you for listening. See you on the next video.